Hi everyone, Keith here from North 40 Fly Shop. Another fly we're doing, another oldie, so to speak. The Black Ghost. The original Black Ghost was created back in 1927. Gentleman's name of Herb Welch. It was a really good streamer pattern used for trout, salmon, steelhead, that kind of style of fish. It was tied on like a 4X, 5X long shake streamer hook. The wing was a white saddle hackle, I believe, and then of course you had a black body, yellow tail. I think it was hackle fiber tail, and then the throat was yellow also. That was about 10 months ago. I was watching on YouTube, and gentleman, I don't remember his name. His YouTube channel is Coast Fly. He's and I think believe in the one of the Scandinavian countries. He took a Mickey fin, which is a well-known fly streamer, and he used craft fur instead of the bucktail that you would normally tie with that. I was pretty impressed with that. So I tied one up and gave it a try. Caught some fish on it. Especially I really like Mickey fins for brook trout. And then I got to thinking, one of my other flies that I haven't used in years, matter of fact, some of the few that I had left that I had tied in my younger days, and also some of the ones that I had bought in years ago, I lost in 2014 in a fire. And I thought, well, let's do the Black Ghost in the same thing, craft fur. Slight modifications. I added a pair of eyes. It's a shorter shank hook, more in today's streamer line, and everything else is craft fur. So let's get started with that in just a minute. So this gives you a better idea, or better look I should say, of what we're tying. I guess a couple of things to clarify. When I tied this up, I just didn't tie it up and go, okay, that looks cool, I'm done. But I did take it out fishing. Took it to a couple of the local lakes, caught a few rainbows on it. The last time I was able to fish it again was late in the summer, and I took it onto the Okanagan River, and actually I was surprised. Caught about 6 smallmouth, the biggest being about 2.5 pounds. And so obviously it's a pretty productive smallmouth pattern. So let's get started with this. We'll take this out, and the hook we're using is a Gamakatsu B10S in a size 6, and the thread is just 70 denier UTC black, of course. And we'll get this started in here. And I usually take it down just a little ways past the bend. About there. And then I'm going to bring it back up just to kind of add a little bit of bulk to the body. So the next thing is we're going to tie in our ribbing, and that's just silver Flashabou. And don't worry, you don't have to get your wraps touching there if you don't need to. Okay. And we're going to flatten that thread out a little bit. And we'll wrap this back forward. Alright, and then our body is just going to be a couple of strands of black Flashabou. What you don't know is this is about my 3rd take videoing, because I kept messing up at this point. I kind of forgot some things, and then I let the Flashabou get away from me, and then it went all over the place. So we're going to tie that in real good up front. Put a half hitch in there. And then one of the things I keep forgetting to do, which will help, is add a little super glue right here, just to kind of put a little strength into that. And then run this on a rotary, hopefully, if it goes right this time. And then where the real tricky part is do not hit the point of your hook with this stuff. It will cut it, and then you're going to be starting all over again. And just like that, don't hit it. Now then, this is where I always get goofed up, so because I lose my grip. So put on a pair of hackle pliers. Much better. All right. Okay, so now we're going to do our ribbing. You don't necessarily have to go counter rib or anything like that. The ribbing really is just for looks here. So you just want to kind of make it nice even spaces. Once you get this just right, then it'll kind of all comes into play. All right. Then you're probably wondering, there might not much strength in that. Well, we're going to put a little bit of loon flow on there and seal it up so that those sharp teeth don't nick that flashaboo and make it all come undone. Okay, take our thread back a little bit there. First thing we're going to add is the throat. So we're going to use some of the yellow craft fur. You don't need a lot. So we just need a small pinch, about that much. Tie that underneath. And then I pull it forward and put a couple wraps in front of it just to kind of get it to stand up right. There we go. And a little trim just to get it to look about right. Okay, now we're going to do the yellow underneath. Bottom part of the wing is yellow. So kind of get a clump, and then you're going to kind of first get all the fuzz out of it. And we're going to get rid of some of the longer hairs. Kind of wet it down a little bit. And not quite enough. Those. Add it to that. And we're going to go back about 2 hook lengths, like that. when using craft fur, I found that using the bigger hair scissors, they work a lot better. Important part is make sure you got that right on top. Just like that. There we go. Okay, now the original pattern really didn't have any flash in it outside of the tinsel on the body, but I wanted to add a little bit, so I'm using this Ice Wing fiber in Pearl UV hue, or UV by Hairline. I'm not going to use a lot. I'm just going to use a little, even though it looks like I'm pulling a lot off, but it's not. So what we're going to do is we're just going to put that between the yellow part of the wing and then the white part of the wing. So just like that. Lock that down a little bit. Spread it out a little bit. Lock that down a little more. Here we go. And then I'm just going to come in and just taper cut that off. And then trim off all the wild ones. And it really is not going to show a lot, except for when that wing is moving around. It will show off some. There we go. Okay, so next will be some white craft fur for the top wing. I already got that prepped out a little bit. And that's going to go right on top, about like that. Maybe just a little past the yellow. And we'll cut that off. Double check it. Okay. Again, you want to keep this right on top. So lock that all down. There we go. And just kind of clean up your head. Excuse my hand in the way, but it's the best way for me to get some control over this. That's about all you got to do, since we're going to do something. We're going to put eyes on here, so we don't have to have a perfect head for the finishing there. You'll notice I keep wetting that just to kind of keep it out of the way, and gives me an idea if I'm doing it right. Alright, better put another one on there just to be on the safe side. It's all going to be encased in UV resin, but still. Oop, well, okay. Took care of that. Alright, we'll get started on the eyes. Will be next. Okay, so we got that done. One little trick that I always do when I'm putting on eyes. I see some hairs in my way there. Okay. Is I take a pair of hemostats, especially if they got the flat jaw right there, come in on my thread base where my eyes are going to go, and just kind of flatten that all out. Makes it a lot easier when I'm putting eyes on there if that's flat. Okay. So for the eyes, we're using either 3mm or excuse me, 4mm or 5mm of the fish skull. These are, I think, these are the yellow ones. I think that's wind. Oop. A lot of times you don't need to, but I like to put just a little bit of super glue on there just to reinforce those. And sometimes by doing that, she wants to slide around a little bit, so that's about right there. And I see some stuff that's going to get in my way. There we go. And I think this time I'm not going to use any super glue on that. Just to speed the process up a little bit more. That looks about right. So the next step, we start applying our UV resin, which is Loon's UV clear, and this is the thin. I like to use the thin. You just kind of have to be quick with it, because it does want to move where it wants to move. The good thing is a little at a time, and then just hit it with your light. Set it. Yeah, it's always fun when your battery on your camera dies when you're in midstream of doing something. So let me finish up this head here. Okay, so that's it for the head. Two things you could do. You could either add some UV Loon's UV clear fly finish in the flow formula. I don't have any with me right at the moment, so I'm just going to use the other thing I use, which is just some hard as hulls, and it's their thin penetrator, and it just puts a sealant on there. It takes the sticking or the tackiness away, same as what the flow would do. And we're done there. So that is it. That's the craft fur black ghost. Like I stated before, it works for trout, but it also works really good for smallmouth. And you know that's a size 6 hook, so you can take it up to a 4 or a 2. Just adjust your size, adjust your eyes. I'm a big fan of eyes anymore when I'm putting on there, so I don't need to run as long a hook when I put eyes on. So that's all I've got for this fly. Again, something else to put in your box. So till next time, we'll see you later.